Hi, my name is Sarah from TBG AI Enrichment. Today, I'm excited to introduce our latest tool, the TBG Enhanced Tiled Upscaler and Refiner Pro, version 0.1 Alpha for ComfyUI. This custom node set was originally built for Flux models, but it's fully compatible with all other models too. Let's walk through the workflow. We start with a mask detection module, followed by a pre-upscaler. Next, we move on to some configuration options for the upscalers. The basic tiler is designed for quick and simple use, offering a set of convenient presets. Then we have the enhanced tiler, the tile prompter, the enhanced refiner, the enrichment pipe, the model loader, and finally we generate the final image. Let's begin by setting up the mask detection node. This node is designed to address some common issues with tiled upscalers. Take a look at this 3D image, courtesy of David, a truly talented 3D artist. As you can see, the render has the typical noise and grain commonly associated with Corona renderer. Grain and noise are major challenges when it comes to upscaling, so addressing them is one of the first steps in our workflow. One issue is that seams can sometimes cut through important objects in the image. Another problem is that smaller details can lose precision during upscaling. Mask detection helps reduce both of these problems. Here, we'll select the elements that require special attention. First, the main lamp. We need to preserve its design exactly, since it's a specific product. Then the painting and the wall behind it. These details matter for consistency. The small lamp and the planter also need attention because they're often reinterpreted when we allow higher creative freedom later in the pipeline. The same goes for switches and plugs. These can sometimes disappear completely if not protected. We'll also select the book since we want to keep the cover title readable. Otherwise, it could easily be turned into something unrecognizable. Smaller elements may be enlarged by up to 16 times before being processed and then downscaled back to their original size after sampling. With all the important elements now carefully masked, including a few small details that might otherwise be lost, we're ready to move on to the next step. This mask is now connected to the Mask to Seg node from the Impact pack. Make sure you have it installed beforehand. We'll skip the pre-upscaler in this case because the image is already at a larger scale. Right now, our focus is on reducing grain and noise and refining the image at its original resolution before any further upscaling. Now it's time to cut the image into tiles, prepare the masks, and set up the tile prompts. While the basic tiler is available for quick use with presets, we'll be using the enhanced tiler for more control and flexibility. There are many settings available, and most of them are explained in the tooltips throughout the workflow, but let me quickly show you a few. First, we've added a mask preview feature, which helps you better understand exactly what's being processed and where your masks are applied. Let's change the compositing mask value to 32. This is the same type of mask you might recognize from other upscalers. It defines the area where image tiles are blended together with transparent overlap, without any generative upscaling. Once you calculate the node, the image updates, and you'll see a yellow area indicating the compositing mask. The green area shows the inpaint region. Since this entire workflow is based on inpainting, compositing masks aren't strictly necessary. The inpainting process connects all tiles seamlessly in a single pass, unlike the tile diffusion node, which uses 3 separate passes to achieve a similar result. Both tiler nodes include a built-in upscaler, but personally, I prefer to upscale separately beforehand. This way, I can clearly see the results and make any adjustments before the tiling process. Now we'll select the LLM to generate the tile prompts. You can follow the progress in the console. It may take a little while, depending on the model you're using. While the prompts are being generated, let me show you our first main goal, removing the render noise. Here's one of the tiles featuring the lamp that I generated separately. This standalone testing function is built into the refiner to speed up all the checks we need to run before generating the full tile set. We'll be using controlnets for this step, but not the usual type. Instead, we're using the controlnet pipeline, which passes the conditioning directly to tile-based conditioning. First, I have an upscale controlnet set up. Notice it's important to set the preprocessor to none for this node. This is then piped into the next controlnet, which is Shaker Labs Pro 2 version, with the Candy Edge preprocessor selected. Unlike processing the whole image, this preprocessor works only on each tile individually. That means the resolution and detail are much higher compared to using the ultimate SD upscaler, which works on the entire image and crops the conditioning. You can use the full image approach if you want, but I find it less effective for this workflow. Lastly, the depth control net is bypassed for these images, and the entire controlnet pipeline is connected directly to the TBG Enhanced Refiner Pro. Also connected and in use are the reflux models and clip files. These are a useful addition for style transfer. In most cases, the upscale controlnet or reflux alone will be enough for effective refinement. By setting the strength high enough, you can even run with a full denoise value of 1, enabling a highly creative and seamless refinement process. We'll start with reflux strength set to 0.5 and the denoise value at 0.8. This gives us a good balance between maintaining detail and allowing for creative refinement. In the refiner, we'll select Flux 1 as the model type. For border generation, you can set it to auto if you're using presets. The other options are original, which means all references for refinement are taken directly from the original image, or generative, a powerful TBG feature that uses the already generated tiles to guide the sampling of the next tile, resulting in smoother transitions and more coherent detail across the image.
We also activate in-process upscaling and downscaling to further enhance the image quality. There are 2 different types of this enhancement. One slightly blurs fine details, which helps to smooth out grain or render noise, and another that maintains more consistency in the finer features. This step ensures that the image is refined more effectively before final output. Let's run this configuration with the upscale type set to none to check the result on our current image. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the generated prompts. Remember, the tile prompter node was designed by David, the creator of the McBodie upscaler for ComfyUI. This workflow is originally based on his work, so be sure to check out the links and videos I've included to support his project. The tile prompter displays all tiles along with their generated prompts. What makes it unique is that you can edit prompts per tile and even adjust the denoise value per tile individually. Looking back at the result of the generation with the inner upscaler set to none, here's the original lamp tile. You can clearly see the film grain and the seam or material joint running through the center of the lamp. Now checking the generated result, unfortunately, the seam we wanted to preserve is gone. That's not what we're aiming for. Let's enable the Finer Details option and see how it performs. There we go. The seam is now perfectly preserved and the film grain has been beautifully cleaned up. The segments we selected with the mask appear at the end of the tile list. Let's select one of those segments and test it using the fast one-tile preview function. The settings we're using for this test are 36 steps, CFG set to 1, flux guidance at 2.5, and a denoise value of 0.8 with normalization enabled. We're also using advanced sampling, though we'll explain that in more detail later. ControlNet multiplier is set to 1 and reflux is at 0.5. The tile segment we selected was the book, and as you can see, the text on the cover has been preserved. Keep in mind that in the original image, the book was only about 20 by 60 pixels, so maintaining that level of detail is a strong result.
We're now ready to run the full tile sampling. First, let's set a general prompt. This prompt will be applied to all tiles, defining the overall close-up macro style without specifying any particular objects.
If you're interested in simpler upscaling workflows, normalized denoise techniques, Sigma manipulation, and more, feel free to check out the ongoing projects on my patreon.com/evan.com/tblar. Don't worry, everything I'm showing here is free. You can also download some custom TBG test nodes to try out. All updates to the TBG Enhanced Tiled Upscaler and Refiner Pro will be published there first. Each workflow is available to download, so you can explore key components like rectify, flow inversion, or the different denoise normalization methods. You'll also find detailed studies on flux-based skin and texture enhancement. Would love to see you there. The first result looks good. Film grain is gone, textures are enhanced, and the overall image is very consistent. However, some of the original artistic style has been lost, and I'd like to recover that. To do this, we'll increase the reflux strength to 1 and lower the denoise to 0.5 for better structure retention. We'll also reduce the controlnet influence by 50% using the cnet multiplier. Next, we'll raise the eta value to its maximum, just like the SDE stochastic sampler does, so we'll crank that to the max. Additionally, we're enabling the TBG enrichment pipe, which combines noise injection with log sigma manipulation using the detail daemon. This will restore texture and character, but be aware, it may also introduce some unwanted artifacts, which we'll take a look at shortly. These settings brought back some of the lost textures. Just take a look at the white carpet. This kind of fine-tuning often takes a few tries to get the right seed and balance. You can absolutely use LoRa's in this workflow, but I didn't for this demo, just to show what's possible using only the original Flux 1 dev model. Here's the final result of the first upscaling step. Remember, high-quality upscaling is a gradual hands-on process. If you want a curated, controlled result, not just a random preset like some well-known online tools, it will take more time, but you get to decide every detail. All tile outputs are saved to a temp folder, so you can even mix and refine them later in a photo editor. That's the overview of the new TBG Enhanced Tiled Upscaler and Refiner Pro. I didn't cover every single setting. This was already a deep dive, but there's more to come. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and check out my Patreon at patreon.com/sanhan.com/tablayer to support the project and grab all the latest updates. See you next time, and happy upscaling!